What did I miss, America? Violence. 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 Hey, everyone, I'm back from Japan, where I spent the past 2 weeks. And I'm already feeling the cultural whiplash. Japan is known for having low rates of violent crime. So naturally, returning to the United States and news of more mass shootings and the senseless killing of a homeless person on the New York subway was a rude shock. I'm talking about the story from Cleveland, Texas, where a man allegedly shot and killed 5 people after being asked to stop firing his rifle in his yard. And the story from Atlanta, where a male suspect is accused of shooting 5 people, one fatally, at a hospital. And then, of course, the viral story of a white subway passenger in New York who put Jordan Neely, a black homeless man, in a fatal chokehold. As it happens, this weekend, he'll be at a conference that aims to examine America's gun violence problem. Later today, he'll be moderating a panel of experts and historians on domestic violence, firearms, and the law at Wesleyan University's new Center for the Study of Guns and Society. If you'd like to listen in, the panel will be featured on a future episode of the podcast Our Body Politic. And in the wee hours of Thursday morning, I faced a situation that brought all these issues home. You can click through to see my Twitter thread. But I'm also recounting the story below. Trigger warning, the episode mentions domestic violence and aggression. It was 2 a.m., and I'd just parked my car at my apartment complex after returning from the gym near downtown Dallas. I sat for a bit with the engine off, doom scrolling on social media. Then I heard a woman's voice. "Leave me alone." It came from the space behind me. The woman was in her sedan, perpendicular to my car, yelling out her window at a man who was leaning out the window of his large truck. Both their engines were on, and I realized they must have just pulled in. It was clear the situation was escalating. The woman was yelling at the man that he was stalking her and needed to leave. He kept insisting he wanted to talk. At that moment, I had a choice: ignore what was happening right in front of me, or intervene. I chose the latter. "Hey, is everything all right?" I said. I got out of my car. The yelling woman's car was right behind mine, so I was boxed in. Another woman, the yelling woman's friend, was in a separate car, a few yards away. When I walked over to talk with her, she gave me the background. The man and woman had dated briefly, but Shed tried to break up with him, and had gotten upset. That night, had followed her from her job. I watched the first woman as she tried to drive toward the garage exit. To my horror, the man put his truck in reverse and blocked her car from exiting. She started screaming and crying. I became increasingly scared for both women. "I'm just trying to talk to my girlfriend," the man screamed. Then he got out of his truck and walked up to his ex's car. "This is none of your business," he yelled at me. "You don't know her." As is well documented, the most dangerous time for women in abusive relationships is when they try to leave a man. I asked the woman's friend if she knew if the man owned a gun. "It's Texas." "I don't know," she said. I asked if she knew if the man was abusive. "Yeah, he once beat her so bad she went to the hospital." I dialed 911. 2 men drove into the garage. I told both of them that there was a bad situation going on. One stuck around. The other kept driving and presumably went to his apartment. Then the situation escalated again. The first woman got out of her car and started pushing the man, who was probably about 6 inches taller and outweighed her by maybe 50 pounds. If he fought back, things would have gone very badly. The woman's friend and I yelled at her to stop. No sign of the police. Finally, the man walked away. The women made it into the building. My male neighbor and I also started going in, but then, I realized I hadn't heard the man's truck engine turn on. I hadn't heard him drive away. Sure enough, he was parked on the other side of the garage. And still, no police. I got to my apartment safely but shaken. At least everyone was uninjured, for the time being. But I knew things could have turned out much, much worse. What did I miss, America? Violence. 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 Hey, everyone, I'm back from Japan, where I spent the past 2 weeks. And I'm already feeling the cultural whiplash. Japan is known for having low rates of violent crime. So naturally, returning to the United States and news of more mass shootings and the senseless killing of a homeless person on the